I started doing workshops and doing groups where I'm getting up in front of others, like outside of the gym setting, and talking about resilience and perseverance and goal setting and vision and taking action.
You should know what 1 hour of your time is worth. You should know the value that you bring to the marketplace. You know what your passion is.
Starts with clarity of vision. If you don't have the clarity of vision, whatever next thing you get, you're not going to see it through because you don't have the clarity of vision. So the point of my pain was being told you will never run or jump again. And all that stuff, I was like, you know what? Like, I want to be able to take this even bigger.
If you know why you do what you do, you have to know how to charge for what you do. That's how you're going to change your life, and that's how you're going to leave a legacy for your children and your family. You got to know your worth.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rob, and I am back with episode number 370 of Shut Up and Grind, where we're all about overcoming obstacles, defying the odds, and inspiring you to clear whatever is blocking the path from the success that you want in this lifetime. So before we dive into today's episode, I have to announce I finished an app. This app is called Veterans Voices, where I'm going to be focusing in on helping to decrease the male veteran suicide rate. So this is where people can take their PTSD, their trauma, whatever it is, they can enter whatever they went through into this app, and it's going to turn that pain into a purposeful story, right? So that's Veterans Voices, and I have a group on Facebook with that same name, Veterans Voices. So I myself didn't serve, but my dad served, and he carried PTSD with him for like 60 plus years of his life. So I've had friends, I have siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles that have all served. So this is near and dear to me. And this is going to be launching probably Monday. So, and it's going to be completely free too. I'm not trying to get paid off of this. I just want to help to do what I can in that regard. So people that watch this show, you know, we're all about the comeback, right? Everybody goes through setbacks. Everybody goes through pain. Everybody goes through struggle, but it's not about what you went through. It's about how did it not break you? Okay. That's what this is about. So my guest today, it's been, you know, a struggle getting us to coordinate schedules. Like I had to cancel a couple of times. She had to cancel, but damn it, here we are. And today we're going to be talking about the next generation. We're probably going to talk about a lot of things because you guys know how the show goes. Like you never really know what path we're going to go down, but we're going to do our best to stay focused on the next generation and what we can do to make life better for them. So helping me have this conversation, we're bringing Shannon to the stage. How you doing?
I am jazzed after watching that intro again. That's awesome. And I get a good number. 370 couldn't be better, right? 370. Yeah, yes. I'm so excited to be here. We have had just the weirdest stuff between the two of us, and this is just going to be an awesome show, just that I get to see your face.
Absolutely. All right, so where are you joining me from?
So I currently live in Indiana, originally from Chicago. I say that because when I say Indiana and people hear the way I talk, they said, well, we're in Indiana. Okay, so Chicago's where I hail from. I live in Carmel, Indiana. So it's beautiful here today.
How close is that to Attica?
I have absolutely no idea. So somebody please, please Google map it and let us know.
Yeah. Well, I did a Spartan race out in Attica twice, actually. It was, I want to say, it's like I flew into Indianapolis and it was like an hour and a half north.
Okay.
Give or take.
So I am probably an hour from there.
Oh,
I'm about it. Okay. Yeah. So I'm in Carmel, Indiana. Yeah. So still not very smart about Indiana, even though I've been here for 8 years. That's a whole other podcast episode. When you're happy in your own head, you don't have to go anywhere. No, I'm just kidding.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. All right, so let's dive in, and we're gonna start with the question that I ask all of my guests: who is Shannon?
Okay, so yeah, you asked me who I am at my core, and I love fun. And that is
Mhm.
really what drives me. And it's not that I'm not serious and stuff, but I just love to find joy and hope in things. It's what drives me. Uh, I laugh probably, I got in trouble in every class through college for talking. Okay. And I will say that I was a straight A student, but I could not keep my mouth shut. I was just too excited about stuff. I mean, I could talk to a wall for like 8 hours, but I just love I think everybody has something in them that's super fun and wonderful and can make you smile. And that is who I am. I just love fun.
Mm.
Yeah. So I hope that I don't know if that describes it. It kind of drives what I do.
Can I just share quick? I was an all-American athlete in high school, all-American athlete, and I got voted in our yearbook superlatives as most talkative. I was
No, I don't. How are we going to get through
like,
this podcast?
I was like, all the things that I've done athletically,
I
I
bet
was still
you
known
recognize
for
me
talking.
for talking. Thank you so much. Yeah,
So
that's
I
awesome.
totally feel that.
Yeah,
All right,
my
go
nickname
ahead.
growing up was actually Mo. And people were like, "How'd you
Mm.
go from Shannon to Motor Mouth?" So I'd be out there on
Ah,
the soccer field. My dad's going, "Come
motor
on,
mouth.
Mo!" Yeah. So
That's great. All right, so how would you describe your upbringing?
I had a wonderful upbringing. I'm one of four kids. I'm the third of fourth. And it just was great. My parents, we lived in a lake community, so always outside, always playing. I'm a full Gen Xer, so out at the lake, out at night. Like every other family, we had our issues, but who doesn't? I mean, I have issues in my own family as a parent now. You know what I mean? But no,
Yes.
I loved my upbringing. I had a lot of lessons I learned from it. I know you lost your dad. I lost my dad 2 years ago, and that's for anybody who's lost their parents. It's the worst club to be in. You don't understand it till you're in it, but just great. My parents were very supportive. My siblings and I could not be more different from each other. But it's a good group, and my mom's the oldest of nine children, so we had a lot of fun with family stuff, and so yeah, I'm a happy camper with my childhood. And like I said, it's not that there wasn't any issues, it's just your presence or your present is not it's not dictated by your past. You know what I mean? Like, so my past is
Mm.
dictated by my present. I'm in a good space. So when I go back and look at it, it's happy. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I can
Yeah.
rewrite the story and look at everything and pull the goodness out of it.
Yeah, just like it says up above us, your true power lies in your story. It's like
Yes.
that's what it's about,
Yeah.
you know. And doing this podcast, like when I started this, like it said in the intro video, is because I was told I would never run or jump again. And I defied those odds. I've done 200 obstacle races. I got back out in track and field. I'm undefeated in the high jump, right? And that's not even to pat myself on the back. That's
No.
just to let other people know that nobody can define your circumstance except you.
Yep. And
It's like people have to realize that.
and I heard you say that, and it meant a lot to me because I had a very serious injury when I was 23 years old, and they told me I would never walk normal again. I'd have to be in support groups. I'd never wear heels again. I want to tell everybody listening, never agree with the diagnosis. Don't agree with it. You do not have anything. You don't have this. I don't have that. You're fighting it. I was telling you earlier about the tendon I have. I don't have a torn tendon. I shouldn't say that. I am healing from a torn tendon. I am taking every step I can. And when you said to me, like, describe yourself, the other thing, and I know you have this too, Robert, I'm very persistent because
Mm.
I think in everything you do, don't stop until you have the answer. Because there's always an answer
Yeah.
for everything. And I really mean it. Like if someone says you have this, don't agree with it. Because they told me that stuff. I know they told you that stuff, Rob. No, I'm going to figure out a way to get where I want to get. And I'm not,
Mm.
I'm going to move mountains, and the world and God will move with you the way you're going and how you're believing. That's just how it is. And I think
Yes.
one of the reasons we have a show like this is that you can hear other people, and God is no respecter of people. He did it for Rob. He did it for me. He'll do it for you. You just got to believe it
Yeah,
and walk toward it. So yeah, I love that.
absolutely. Absolutely. One of my Facebook cover photos in the past, it was a quote that said, "Failure cannot cope with persistence." So you're
Yes.
absolutely right. Like being persistent is key. It's like with me and in my world, like so me at my core, I'm a competitor. So
Okay.
everything that I look at is through that lens. Everything that I'm dealing with is through that lens. So that doesn't mean life doesn't throw me lemons. It does. But I'm
Right.
making lemonade. I'm making lemon squares. I'm making margaritas. It's like you go right down the list. You just figure out, okay, how can I get through this?
Right.
So what is something that you went through where you had to adopt that mindset and was just like, how can I get through this?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that's changed with me and really the last few years, probably, well, I will say since April this year. So as you discussed when we first came on here, we're talking about we'll talk about the next generation. So something that's really important to me is helping us get our kids off screens. And I have been fighting this battle for 17 years. And I came out with my first attempt at this in 2009 to 2010. And I'm going to put in quotes, it quote unquote failed. Okay. And there's a lot of story behind it. And I lived with the feeling of that failure for a really long time. I went from being an entrepreneur who started a business to being a stay-at-home stepmom. It's a totally bizarre story that we won't spend time on, but I was a single stepmom. I was a single stepmom. And I really beat myself up. I was like, oh, I was this corporate person. I was this, and now I'm just this. And it occurred to me that you can look at every situation and you can take the bad part about it. But what I now know is everything that is bad can be turned for good, right? And now I can look back at that and I can say, I got the chance to be a mom. Like that is the most beautiful thing to being a parent, to raise souls is like one of the coolest things you can do. So I got that. And then because of that, this thing that I developed was for children, okay? But I developed it without being a parent first. So now I've come back and I'm doing it again, but now you've got me as an entrepreneur who learned the first time. It's no longer a failure. That was a huge lesson for me. I know what I did wrong. I know what I need to do this time. So you've got that. You've also got a woman who's been a mom for 17 years now. So what a thing. So you know what I mean? So I literally beat myself up on that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what are you doing? You have all this experience now. And I think that's how you can look at all things. It's like, okay, how can I frame this and use this to go forward? So that was a big thing for me.
Absolutely, right. On that same token, just 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, I had my own gym,
Mhm.
and I dropped the keys on the desk because I had an issue with my business partner, and I walked away. Right,
Mhm.
that was one of the toughest decisions that I had to make. I mean, there were clients that were with me for 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 years. Like these people were like it literally shattered my soul to do
Yeah.
this. And for a split second, I went into a dark place. Because even us motivators, we're still human.
Mhm.
We're still human. Like we feel things. And so for that split second, because like I literally lost everything. Like I was homeless for like 6 days. Not like sleeping on the street homeless. Like I was bouncing through hotels, but like I had nowhere to go. And then I finally had to swallow my pride and I called my mom and I was like, can I come home? So at the time I was 48 years old, literally living in my mother's basement, and I was in that dark place. And then this one day, because I had paused this show, like I paused it because I'm like, how the hell can I get up here and be all motivational stuff when I'm in a sunken place myself, right? So, but it was when I restarted the show, that the very first guest is like, here I am trying to put out inspiration, and she inspired me to get out of that dark place and to get back into my purpose. And then I started coaching again. And then once
Mm.
I started coaching, like all of those positive doors started opening again. Because when you're in the dark place, all you see is all of the struggles, all of the challenges, all of the pain, the
Right.
hurt. But once I relit my purpose, everything just fell into place.
Well,
And the
right.
podcast is back, right? The podcast is back, and all the good things started happening. So, what keeps your soul on fire?
Well, I just wanted to add to that real quick. So dark
Go
begets
ahead.
dark. Dark
Yeah.
begets dark, light begets light. If you can take that one little thing And just like you did, just take one little step and the light hits you, you keep going toward it. It's just getting yourself to do that little
Yes.
step. Because if you're going to stay at home, the depression, all those little demons that are yelling at you, they're going to keep yelling, you know? So that's
Yeah.
awesome that you did that. And I think you said something else, that you asked for help. That is so hard for so many people to just ask for help, but other people like helping you. I mean, I'm the same way, but as soon as I start asking for help, other people like you're actually doing them something good by asking them to help you, you know? So,
True.
yeah. So what is the question you asked me again? I'm so sorry. Do you
Oh,
remember?
so what
Yeah.
is it that keeps your soul on fire?
Oh, okay. So right now, what keeps my soul, I love impacting people in a positive way. So in any way I can see it, I
Mm,
think that's why I brought up that fun thing. Like if I can get somebody to smile, it's like makes my day. And that's just a little thing, you know, but yeah, impacting people keeps my soul on fire. So even when I sometimes wake up and I'm not motivated, I'm still persistent because motivation is not the thing. You're only motivated like
agreed.
10% of the time. But if you're going to get
Yes.
up and be persistent, that's the thing. And so if I can think with all the stuff I'm doing, when you're talking about your veterans voices, you're motivated because you know you're going to help veterans. This is so crazy, Robert. I have an app, went into beta testing today. So look at this. Look at
Oh,
how
wow.
aligned we are. And
Nice.
it's for families. And I'm motivated because I want to help parents help their kids get their imaginations back. So even when I don't feel like doing it, which I don't sometimes, I'm like, no, you're doing this for these other people. So that's what motivates me.
Love it. So I mentioned earlier that I coach as well. So I coach a track team. And 2 years ago, when I started, I didn't really get in trouble, but I got spoken to by the athletic director because I was talking to the kids about mental performance, right? When you're an athlete, mental performance is a thing, but
Right.
like, so you said you're Gen X, so we got to be close in age because I'm
We're
Gen
very
X
close.
also.
We're very
So,
close.
so when we grew up, right, when we grew up is a little different than the way the world is now. Right? So
Yeah.
now
Yes.
it's like mental health is all the rage, and you can't question someone's mental health and all that. But like in talking with the athletes, I was like, listen, I said, you guys can't be bringing stress and anxiety to the track. I was like, that's not how sports work. It's like if you're dealing with stuff, I'm like, leave it up there at the stairway to the track, come down to the track, grind, and then pick up whatever you're dealing with on the way out. And I got in trouble for that.
Really.
Yes, I got in
Wow.
trouble for
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I can see
So
that right now, but yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
I had to find other ways to address it and use other words. Like I couldn't use no anxiety, depression, stress, mental health. I couldn't use any of those words. So when you're dealing with the next generation, like how are you approaching it?
yeah, that's really interesting. So one of the reasons I'm going to kind of explain what I do right now. So I
Okay.
have an app that's coming out and books out there. But my whole point is helping kids and us actually get off these screens so much because it's really having an effect. It's one of the main reasons anxiety and depression is so high right now. That's a whole different
Yeah.
conversation. But I started it when my step kids were 4, 8, and 10. Well, now they're 22, 26, and 27. And
Yeah.
exactly, I started it when I noticed that when I met them, they didn't know how to play. And I'm going,
Mm.
what in the world is going on with these kids? So I started on this journey of seeing that it was the screens that was doing it for them. And that was 2008. That's before that smartphone came out. So the smartphone just
Oh
blew
yeah.
this out of the water, you know? But
Yeah.
everything I was worried about has come to pass now. In Gen Z, we've got the most anxious generation there's ever been. I call them, instead of bold lions, they're anxious squirrels because their prefrontal cortex was rewired on these screens. It's something
Yeah.
the good news is we can rewire them, something we really have to focus on. What I have been doing with them, because I teach a class called Break the Chain. I'm really now trying to get Gen Z into it because they are the ones who really need it. I am finding with them, it's different for all of us. You and me, you could come and punch me in the shoulder. I'd be like, that's amazing, right? Like we could, yeah, I'd be like, cool. But you don't do that to them. I think with what it is you have to recognize, and it can be hard sometimes, who you're dealing with and how they're going to
Yeah.
respond to you. And I'm finding with Gen Z, they don't want to be lectured to. They really believe they are much smarter than us, and they are with technology. Let's be honest. Like I don't want to learn half the stuff, but they kind of think that lecturing them, I feel like in talking to them, they want to be loved, but not like in the you get a trophy, but they want to be loved and understood because so much of them hasn't been understood because their whole life has been online. Does that make sense? They actually want human interaction. They want, hugs. And I'm not like a hippie here, but I'm saying like they literally want to be recognized for who they are as a person. And I
Yeah.
think that's where a lot of the anxiety and the lack of self is coming from because they have not been paid attention to as much as other people have. They're not outside playing like we did. I mean, we spent all of our life outside. That's where you get all your
Yeah.
that's where you get all your life skills. That's where you get,
Mhm.
everything. And people are like, oh, it's just play. No, it's not just play. When you're outside playing, you're critical thinking, you're problem solving, you're dealing with difficult personalities, all this stuff. So that generation didn't have that. So we have to approach them in a way knowing that they didn't have it. And also knowing, this is interesting in my research, their brain is actually not wired to have face-to-face conversations. So it actually does
Yeah.
make them nervous and anxious. So we
Mhm.
just have to recognize that about them and then just give them a little grace to get that wiring done. Am I making sense?
Yes, yes. So I actually spoke in a high school twice last month, and I completely agree with you. Just with my style is very direct, right?
So
And
is mine.
yeah, it's like, that doesn't really work with everyone, especially that Gen Z. But when I tell you, I had these kids in both sessions hanging on my every word because I think these kids want to be led. Because
They
on
do.
the screens, you're getting all the negatives, like the world is this and the climate's gonna this and this is gonna that, and it's
Well,
like
and
they're
they're
getting fed all of this
right.
stuff.
All of that stuff, and they're comparing themselves to like unattainable things. You got these people with all
Yes.
these, beautiful shots of themselves and all this stuff. And I was talking to them, and it's exactly what you're saying. It's like no one knows them. Like
Yeah.
they've been lectured to, and then of course, yes, the doom scrolling, like, oh, all this is going to happen to you. They do, once you get their attention, they want to listen. So
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah.
and keep in mind they did it to us. Remember back in the late 90s where they were like the hole in the ozone layer is going to
Yeah.
fry the Northeast by the year 2000. You know what I mean?
You
And
made
here
it.
we are,
You made it.
2025. We're
Yeah.
still here, right?
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things, so in that talk in the school, there were 15 other people there to talk. And the instructor told me that I got the most feedback, because I hit those kids. And again, and not even about me, because I just hit them with brutal truths. I was
Right.
like,
No.
all right,
And
go
that's
ahead.
another thing. Like we have to recognize, and I think I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I think we come off as frustrated to them and mad at them because we're frustrated that they're missing out on the stuff that we had. And sometimes I will joke about Gen X, but sometimes we can be quite harsh. But it's just because
Yeah.
we're so upset for them that it's coming off that way. We're like, why aren't you going outside? Why aren't you doing this? It's just because we know the beauty of it.
Mm,
But I want to say to everybody
yep.
listening, even though we're frustrated with this younger generation, they are as smart, talented, and everything that we were. We're just not expecting it out of them. And that's why when you go
Yeah.
in and you are direct with them and you do expect stuff out of them, they react to it because we're pulling out of them the thing that's missing, and they know it's missing, but it's been kind of stolen from
Yes.
them. Your childhood was stolen from them. So I'm sure that's why they resonated with you because you're treating them like a human being. You're
Yes.
expecting stuff. You're expecting greatness from them.
See, that's the key word right there. Expectation. I always say people work to what the expectation is. And that's in
Mhm.
every facet of life. Like when I'm here in this gym, people know when they walk through that door, I don't want to hear that you're tired. I don't want to hear that you're not in the mood. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. When you walk in the door, I expect your best. If you
Yes.
can't give me your best, stay home. When I coach, when I coach the athletes, I'm like, we are here. We are on a mission. It's like, yes, you're told winning doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Because it matters in life,
It matters
right?
in life. Yes. Absolutely. And the thing is, it's not like if you don't win, you're a loser, but you're going to try your best to win. And that's when they took that
Yes.
winning out of there, then it makes everybody mediocre. You're trying to win. We got to get to the place like when you don't win, okay, it's fine. But then what you're going to do next time is try to win again. Right? Versus if
Yes.
you get a
See,
trophy. Yeah.
that's
Versus if you
it.
get a
That's it.
trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got to keep trying to win. And I know when you said, I expect your best, you're not saying I expect perfection. Those are two completely different
No.
things. And actually, that's something
Agreed.
I really had to get over. I used to be a perfectionist, and it literally just stops you from getting anything done. It does. And like,
Yes.
and so I know that's not what you're asking out of people. You're saying, Shannon, I want your best right now, right here.
Yep.
And that's what you're looking for, because no one's perfect. There's
Yes.
one perfect person, that was Jesus. The rest of us are just like screwing along. But we just want to get to the place where we're expecting the best from ourselves and each other. And I think that
Yes.
drives you. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that's where the people you're surrounded with, that matters. Cause I'll hear in here, they're like, oh, Rob's showing off again. I'm like, I'm not showing off. Like, I'm working to my ability. It's like
Hmm.
this is what I can do. At
Hmm.
51 years old, I can still hit a 50-inch box jump. That's not showing off. That's just doing what I can do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes
Absolutely.
we get around other people and we're like, oh well, I don't want to hurt so and so's feelings. It's not about that. It's like you don't shrink yourself
Hmm.
to not hurt. No, it's like you want to be your best self so you can show other people what's possible. What's your
Yes.
thoughts on that?
Well, the thief of joy is comparison. You
Yes.
cannot walk around comparing yourself to other people. You can try to, if I see you doing something, I can try to get there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he can do that. I can try to get there, but I'm never going to compare myself to you because I'm not you.
Yes.
And I
Yep.
really do think, and I love talking about this, but like in everything in life, you have a different purpose, and you have a purpose in everything. You really do. But for some things, if we look at the body, let's just say the body is all of us. Some things, Robert's going to be the heart and I'm going to be the little toe. But you still need the little toe there. And I'm not going to compare myself
Yeah.
to Robert as the heart, or I'm going to feel bad about myself. But in another chapter, I'm going to be the stomach and he'll be a kneecap, but we all need to
Yes.
be
It's
there.
true.
Right. So I just think if people, the thing that you were talking about, that's people comparing themselves to you because they don't feel good about themselves and trying to bring you
Yes.
down so they feel better. That's not okay either. So I think like
No.
you just have to do your best that you were made to do and let everybody else do their thing and surround you with people who know what your best is. And because they can give you grace on those days you're not getting, you're not doing your best. They'll know the days that you're not showing up and you're just using excuses. And then they'll also know days that you need some grace. like like you said,
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, you needed a little grace. So yeah, I think comparison, and I used to be really bad about it. You just do not compare yourself. You can, I can't get the word right now, but you can try to live up to people. You can read about people that want to be like, but don't compare yourself to them because you're not them and you never will be them. You can only be the
Yeah. It's
best
like
you.
bingo, bingo. That's what I was just about to say. Because where people go wrong is they look at someone else's talent and they wish that they had that talent. It's like you
Mhm.
got to look at your own talent. What is yours? Like, for example, one of my long time clients. She's been with me probably closing in on 10 years now, and she's not like big, but she's a bigger girl, and she would constantly compare herself to the skinnier girls, right? And I
Mhm.
was like, listen, I was like, your body type is your body type. Like
Right.
you can't change your body type. I said, so instead of trying to be fast like her, why don't you focus on strength? Right? Focus on strength. Let's focus on deadlifts. Let's focus on the heavy carries, things of that nature. Like that's where you can shine. And they're gonna look at you and be like, wow, I wish I was strong like her. It's
Exactly.
like
And
you can
that
flip
just,
that script.
yeah, and that goes back to your point about this Gen Z thing again, because they are comparing themselves. I just think about the skinny girls, but they're looking online and seeing all these things that they're comparing themselves to. And because they're not living in the real world, they don't have someone like you saying, hey, you might not be like this, but you're this. They're
Mm-hmm.
missing out on that because that's a really important point. You know, I'm not a big person, and it's hard for me to get like even lift the milk carton out of the fridge. Like, it's heavy. My sister can pick up a generator. She's one of the strongest human beings I've ever met. We don't compare ourselves to each other. That's just how we were made.
Mm.
And we have our own special things we
Yep.
can do. And we're sisters, you know?
Yep.
But I really do think that's a big point, that you can flip the script, like you said, and be like, okay, what's my talent here? And even like,
Exactly.
sorry, I'm gonna take a drink of water, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Even so I have children's books, and for a while I was putting them out there, and I'm reading other people's books, and it's okay to read other people's books to get ideas, but I am me. I write the way I write, and the people who like my stuff will like my stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit there and compare myself to all these other people, because it literally will drive you crazy and you'll never get anything done. It's the same thing as perfection.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, at 38, so I donated a kidney to my sister back in 2011, and going through that process, like for the first time in my life, and I've been near death a couple of times, but that was the first time that I actually felt my mortality.
Oh,
and
wow.
and I decided in that moment, I'm like, I'm not people pleasing anymore. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, I'm showing up authentically. This is me. People will like me. People will loathe me. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it all. It's like, people that don't like my style don't follow my stuff. It's that simple. But for the longest time, like, I was trying to be everything to everyone. And then at the end of the night, it's like there's that void there, because it's like I'm not being my authentic self. And
Mm-hmm.
then once I dropped that veil, it's like everything started to take off. It's because, like, I'm focusing on the things that appeal to me and make me me. And then
Yeah.
the people that need that type of guidance, they gravitate towards me. You know,
Yes.
so it's like I'm working with the people that need my style. And then doing this show is because I bring on people who don't necessarily have to be aligned with me. It's like you can have a completely different approach, and that's okay, because I know that I'm humble enough to know my style isn't for everyone.
Right.
You know,
And I think something
so
important about
go
what
ahead.
you said, I don't think and I don't hear you saying, like, just be a jerk and I don't care what other people think. I'm just going to be me. That's not
No.
what you're saying. What you're saying is, I'm doing the thing that's authentically me. I always say for myself, I'm walking in what I believe is the will of the Lord for me. So therefore I'm doing that. I'm not doing things that are out of mean spirit, right? I'm not purposely going
Yes.
out and hurting people. So if I do something that happens to offend somebody, and I'll put hurt in, quotes, but it's not done out of a mean spirit. You know what I mean? So if they don't like something
Yeah.
I do, they don't like something you do, they like the way you say something, but you're not doing it in a bad place, you don't have to worry about what those people think, because you could do everything they want you to do and they still won't like you. And then it
Yeah,
just makes
true.
you worried about everything you're doing. I think that's a really important thing for people to pick up on. Be your authentic self, do things out of a kind heart, and then you really don't have to worry what other people think. Even if they call you names, you know who you are. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That's so true. Like, I was trying to instill that into my kids. Like, one of them came home from school, and they were like, "So and so said that I'm dumb." I said, "Are you dumb?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Then why are you mad?"
Yeah.
Right?
You're not dumb. It's not true.
Like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
It's like, but that goes back to the letting other people dictate who you are. You
Yeah.
know, and again, that's why we started this with, who are you at your core? Because once that person is defined, nothing can shake it. You know,
Right.
it's like people attach their identities to their careers, they attach it to their family, and all of those things are important. But before all of that, you had a set of core values, and
Right.
that is your driver.
Well, and
Right?
I
That's
think
your
too,
driver.
if you do you identify with something that's external to you, you're going to get in trouble. Because here's the thing, if I had identified as an entrepreneur, which I was doing, then when my company didn't work, what does that do to who I am as a person? That's horrible.
Yeah.
In the
Mhm.
same frame, what if had it worked, what would have that done to my ego? You cannot do that. So you either like
Yes.
puffing up your ego, or you're down, in the dredges. So like you can't, like, and you can be proud of your family and love your family, but stuff goes on with your family too. Like I was saying, like, I love my family. There's stuff that went on with them. That's not
Yep.
who I am. So I love that you asked that, because you do have to know who you are, because no matter what happens, then you have a peace and a joy internally.
Yes. So when everything shut down in 2020, I joined various masterminds because I was like, all right, the gyms are closed. Like, I may as well learn stuff,
What am I
right?
gonna do?
So I went and I joined various masterminds. And that was where this concept came from, because people could not introduce themselves. It's like you go through and they're like, so and so, unmute yourself. And who are you and what do you do? And people would just talk for like 5 minutes. I'm like, and I still don't know a thing about what this person does. So, like that was how I got on this.
I know it's beautiful. And I think the only reason I can answer it now is because I have been on this journey, like I said, since April. So I think you'll appreciate this. I started my company back up again because I realized how much the kids actually do need what I'm putting out there, these offline activities and stuff like that. But I was still holding on to something from my past. And I went out to lunch with a woman I barely knew. And I was trying to tell her, like, well, my family, they always said everything's about me. And I just don't this, that, and the other thing. And excuse. And I'm just being all sad on myself. And she looked at me, like I said, this woman I barely knew. She goes, how long are you going to hold on to that? And it just was like a smack in my face. And I'm going, you know what? I'm 48. What am I doing? What am I doing? None of that matters. And so at that moment, I came home, I told my husband, he's like, I have been waiting for you to take that basket off of your light. Just go shine your light. It doesn't matter if you do well or if you do bad. If that's what they think about you, that's always what they're going to think about you. So stop trying to prove them wrong and just do what you're supposed to do. And that was a huge moment for me. And then I started realizing who I was. So that's why I brought that up, because I don't think I could have answered that. I don't think I could have, because I was tying it to my job. I was tying it to what my family said about me. I was tying it to this. No, it's who are you? Take some time and learn who you are, and then shine.
Yes.
It's so much better. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's so less stressful. Like,
yes.
This is gonna probably not come off well, but it was like going back to that once I decided to stop people pleasing, which means I started turning down events I didn't want to attend. Because like I'll hear people here in the gym saying like, I have to go to this enter event this weekend. And I'm like, why do you have to go? Right? Like if you don't want to go, don't go. It's like I took that position when I was 40. I was like, you know what? If there's something I don't want to do, I'm not doing it. It's like I'm just not. Right. It's like why am I gonna commit 6 to 8 hours of my time to doing something that I don't want to do? It's like, yes, right. It can sound super selfish, but at the same token, it's like this is my life. It's like I get to choose how I spend it. And no, I don't want to go to a wedding that's probably going to end within 5 years. It's like that sounds awful to say, right? But look at the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So with me, I would rather spend my time doing something that's actually impacting humanity.
Yeah.
Doing things like this. I'm working on my second book, which is ready for this title? From My Mother's Basement. Right?
That's awesome.
Right? So because ever since I moved back home, it's like I published my first book, Shut Up and Grind. I restarted this podcast, which I'm booking into June of next year. I have 40 upcoming gigs going. I have the 2 apps that I'm launching. I just published my speaker website so I can get paid speaking gigs. It's like I'm literally building an empire right now.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like you take the opportunity, like it's not about where you are, it's what are you doing with it? And not to mention, since I've been home, my mom's had a knee replacement surgery. She won a battle with breast cancer. Like she needs help. And with dad not being around anymore, we have almost 1.5 acres of land. Like she can't do all of that by herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like she actually needs me there as much as I needed her in the beginning. Like, can I sustain myself now? I absolutely can. But it's like if I leave, it's gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah, you're right where you're supposed to be right now.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I'm single, so it's not like trying to have a relationship in my mother's basement or something. You know what I mean? So it's like my oldest daughter is there with us for a little bit longer. She's actually going to the Navy November 15th. But
excellent.
so yeah, so it's about taking your situation and doing something with it. Hence the title of that book.
I love it. Well, one of the things my husband always says is it's not what you're doing, it's who you are through it. So,
Yes.
how you're reacting,
like that.
how you're being to people, because that's really what this is for. And you also said something else that's really important, but you really only get one time to do this human life. And it's just do the things that are bringing you joy, not in a selfish way. You know what I mean? But you get one chance. And I think, the older you get, you realize so many of the things that you thought were important aren't important anymore. And there's plenty of stuff that you have to do. You were saying, I don't want to do stuff I don't have to do. That's because there's plenty of stuff you have to do. You have to pay your bills. You've got to, fill your car up with gas, all that stuff. And no one wants to do that. I just picked a really small thing, filling up your car with gas, but no one really wants to go do that. Never met anyone who's like, woohoo, I get to go to the gas station. But I think it's really good. And I think you're really showing people that you can take a thing in your life that you could be like, oh yeah, I'm living in my mom's basement, but now you're writing a book about it. Like that's phenomenal.
Absolutely. And a lot of people wouldn't even admit that.
Right.
That like they wouldn't admit that. And it's like, why would I not? Like this woman gave me life. Why am I going to be ashamed about being there with her? It's like, yeah, she's helping me, I'm helping her. It's like I pay half the bills. It's like I'm not freeloading. You know what I mean? It's like I pay half the bills there. And cutting the lawn, that's like a 2-hour affair. Shoveling the driveway, we have a long driveway. Right? It's like raking leaves takes like 3 weeks. It's like we have a lot of land and a lot of trees. It's like we live in the country. So it's one of those things where it's like your societal definition doesn't have to be. It's like I don't have to be what society says I need to be. It's like I can be me. Like I spoke on a platform a couple months ago, and they said you have to show up in professional attire, right? And my response was, whose profession are we going by? I said, because I said, and my profession requires me to wear a tank top. Well, not requires me, but allows me to wear a tank top. I said, so why can't I show up to what my profession is? And they didn't have any answers. So they let me show up like this.
That's actually, like, this is my professional attire. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't come in here in a shirt and tie. Right? It's like, this is my uniform. So I want to be able to show up as me. I'm like I've actually turned down gigs. Like I had a paid speaking opportunity for a career and technical school a few years ago. And I said, I can talk to the kids about confidence and resilience and all that stuff. I said, and I can also show them how to make money with their smartphones. And the principal was like, oh, we don't want to talk about entrepreneurship with the kids. I was like, but why? And she's like, well, and these were her exact words. She says, so our goals for the kids are for them to either enter the workforce or get further education. I'm like, okay. Man. I was like, what are the kids' goals? Yeah. Because they should know all of the opportunities that are available to them so they can choose what they do. I'm like, why are you choosing what they do?
Right.
And
that's really tough.
Yes, it's like, and even when I spoke at the school last month, they wanted me to just talk about the fitness industry. And so I agreed at first, but I knew I was going to spin it a different direction, right? So once I got there, I was like, all right, can I take this in a different direction? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, just trust me. This is going to be fine. And I went through and I asked all the kids what they wanted to be when they grew up. And not all of them knew. Like the freshman and the sophomore, like they didn't give me the best answers. But for the ones that gave me answers, like I showed them how to leverage it. I was like, all right, you want to be a physical therapist. Like, being a physical is that going to make you rich? It's like, probably not, right? So we live in an age now where we have TikTok and we have YouTube and we have Instagram. I'm like, so how can you leverage your knowledge as a physical therapist? It's like you can put videos online, you can do how-tos, you can make ebooks, and now you can take that information and now you can have multiple streams of income. And even the teacher was looking at me like, wow. It's like we live in that time, like where these young kids, by the time they're 25, they can have 4, 5, 6 streams of income. But we're not telling them that because society wants them in the workforce. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. And I think also it's great if a little girl comes up and says, I want to be a mom. That's good. Let her be a mom.
That
You
too.
know what I mean? You've got kids that want to be a CEO. Fine, you can be a CEO. You have kids that want to be farmers. I think that we need to really listen to them, like you said earlier, listen to them and figure out who they want to be and then stand behind them. Because
Exactly.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I just was we're trying to put too many people in too many molds, and we're all very, very different. And if you get someone moving toward the thing that they're good at, you're going to see people excel in the craziest ways. But when you try to take someone who wants to be a tradesman and make him go to a 4-year college, that's not going to work because that's not where their drive is. Yeah.
Exactly. So just yesterday on yesterday's episode, I interviewed a psychologist, right? So she got a psychology degree. I am a college dropout, okay? And the two of us had the most amazing conversation about the human mind and about mental health and about anxiety and depression. So I mean, yes, are there some things where a degree is needed? Absolutely. If you want to be a doctor, you gotta go through it. You want to be a lawyer, you gotta go through it. Engineer, so on and so forth. But yes, I might not have a degree, but I traveled this country and went to like the top fitness masterminds, marketing masterminds, branding masterminds, getting on media, Facebook ads. It's like I would say I probably have a master's level knowledge of marketing without having a degree, because there's other ways to get it done. And that's just to illustrate your point. So like if someone's not a good student, but they have talent, pushing that kid into college isn't going to work for them.
And the other thing is, if you've got someone like you and me who are finding entrepreneurs because we can push ourselves, right? You have other people who really just want to get up in the morning and go to a 9-to-5 job. There's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. It's just what makes you go. And I love that we're having that conversation, because that really gets under my nerves, because I'm like, not everybody's going to fit this mold. You know what I mean? Like to do a weird analogy, it'd be like making everybody have a pet. Not everybody loves pets. I love pets, but you know what I mean? Like not everybody is the same. We're just not the same.
Yes. See, and that's how we grew up. It's like, I didn't make this, I made this leap too late in life, because we grew up saying, if you don't go to college, you're going to end up pumping gas or flipping burgers, So once I mean, because I dropped out of college 3 times, so I gave it a shot, I gave it a shot, and then I was literally, flipping burgers. I was in restaurants. I got into management, and I stayed in it probably a decade longer than I should have. Because again, you just had that burned into your brain. Like, without a degree, you can't do anything else. And so when I made the jump into fitness, I had to soul search. And like I tell people now, that next thing that you want to do, it's already in your brain. It's already there. Like in managing restaurants, I learned HR practices. I learned hiring. I learned how to do payroll. It's like I learned the tax laws and the labor laws. Like, there was so much that I learned that I didn't even realize I could carry it over into something else. And then the things I didn't know, again, the marketing, the branding, all that stuff, I went and learned it. So it's like that whole thing that you can't do anything if you don't have this piece of paper. It's not right. And that's what I make sure I hammer down when I'm speaking in schools and talking to the next generation. It's like, you guys, like, you don't have to follow the mold if you don't want to.
I think the more
you know?
important thing is it's focusing on character. It's your character
Yes,
that's gonna bring you down. It's you know what I mean? If you
true.
have integrity, if you have focus, if you have persistence, you can pretty much do anything. I mean, persistence is way better than talent. You know? So if you
Yes,
have those things,
yes,
you can do anything. But if you're lazy, if you're procrastinating, if you're a victim, those are the things we need to be teaching them, you know, because
yes.
that's where you fail and where you succeed. It's who you are as a person. So I think it's really important. I think we're making a shift. I really do think we're making a shift with a lot of people starting to homeschool and stuff like that. People are in the
Yep.
trade schools coming out. I think it's great. I'm really excited for what we're doing and what we're recognizing. It's cool. So yeah.
Agreed. And to illustrate what you just said, so one of the athletes that I trained, so I started with him the summer after his freshman year. So I observed him at a track meet, and at this one particular meet, I just happened to be right next to his mom. Right, so he was doing the triple jump. So he goes, he jumps, and when she starts clapping, and I was like, oh, like, are you his mom? And I was like, yeah. I was like, with some fine tuning, I was like, he could really do something with this. And she's like, really, you think so? So to your point, because he had that drive, like he
Mhm.
just had that presence, right? He had the presence. Like there were some people you can just look at them and be like, that person has it. And that was him as a freshman. You're what, 13, 14? And
You know,
so he's a senior now. He's been doing personal training with me these last 3 years. He's got multiple colleges courting him. He's on pace to be state champion this year, possible New England champion.
wow.
And when he first started, in the high jump, he almost quit. Right? He almost quit. I was like, no. I was like, we're building the house. I'm like, this is just the foundation right now. I'm like, you're worried about the finished product. We're not there. I'm like, we're at
No.
the foundation. Said you need to learn the approach, the plant, the takeoff, the arm drive. I'm like, that's where we are.
Well, and the thing
Last
is,
year, go ahead.
I was gonna say the thing is, even if he doesn't turn out to do the high jump, just like you said when you were flipping burgers, the stuff that he's learning while doing that, that's 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 the stuff. Because he's learning
Yes.
drive, he's learning persistence, he's learning to listen, he's learning to show up every day.
Yeah.
That's the ticket. Like, that's where you're learning, and you're going for the win, but even if you don't get it, you're being your best, and I think that brings it back to what we were saying. It's just what you make out of what you're doing, and that's incredible to me, and I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So last year he was division champion and class champion in the high jump and the triple jump.
Wow.
Last year he was second in the high jump in the state. Second. He just missed winning. But to your point, he went from wanting to quit to being
Mhm.
the second best in the state. And so many times people try something and then they just abandon it. Like
Right.
as a fitness coach, people come in here and they say, "Oh, I've tried every diet out there." I'm like, "So all I heard is you quit every diet out there." Right? It's like
Yeah.
if you take one and you stick with it and you take the falls, you learn and grow, you take the falls, you learn and grow, and then you can reach that point. Like if Diego quit the high jump,
Right.
like he's got a shot to go to college for free because he's stuck with it.
That's
And
incredible.
that's
Yeah.
what these young kids have to understand, because right now we're in this quit culture.
Yeah.
Like I dealt with it with my oldest son. He
Yeah.
went to school. He got a degree in automotive. He went to an automotive school. So
Good.
he finished with honors. He was working on cars. Like the going would get tough, he would just quit. I'm like, dude.
That's because
I'm like,
I bring it back to
go
my
ahead.
screen thing. I have to run in like a minute. Um,
Oh yeah, so do I.
yeah, I know we're just I knew that would happen to us. But back to the screen thing, it's just because they're used to getting rewards all the time. That's one of the reasons you're saying with people because
Yes.
I'm a screen. But I'll stop so we can like wrap this up because I want to say goodbye to you. And both of us have to go for a meeting, and we've just got talking so much. I
Yes.
looked over. I was like, oh no. Okay. So
I know. I just put it myself. Well, yeah. So we'll definitely connect again. Even
for sure.
not even necessarily for a podcast. I just want to talk to you more.
I want to talk to you more too. This is why this was so hard because this is awesome. So, Yeah, thank you for having me on here. This is really motivating,
Pleasure.
and I'm excited to stay in contact with you.
Absolutely. And just quickly, let people know where they can find you.
Sure. So it's sscoulter.com. So S is in Shannon, S is in Sue, and then COULTER.com. If you go out there, you'll see all of my stuff. It's a whole program to help people take their power back from screens so that you become the master of your screen versus it being the master of you. So I'm not telling you to give up technology. I'm just helping you be more intentional with it so you get some peace and time back in your life. So that's what I'm all about.
Love it. Awesome. All right. So I'll reach out and we'll definitely connect again.
Okay.
So thank you for being here.
Okay.
Right,
Thank you for having me. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Shut Up and Grind. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Robert has over 20 years experience pouring his knowledge and expertise at many events in the service and fitness industry, as well as secondary schools and universities. He has a true passion for helping others break through the barriers that are holding them back. To book Robert B. Foster to speak or to reach out, go to robertbfoster.com. Till next time, shut up and grind.